And welcome everyone. This is the Metagame Conference 2021 on the Rift Invitational Collegiate Regional Tournament Show Match. This event is brought to you by, of course, by the Association of Pacific Rim Universities in partnership with Cyberport and Nexten Esports. My name is Dash, and I'm here joined by Datum. How are you doing today, Datum?
I am absolutely excited for our matches today. Of course, like you said, these are show matches from universities from all over the Pacific Rim. On the Rift Invitational is a regional tournament for students which builds community and connectivity through competition. The matches that we are about to have today, the first one is between the University of British Columbia Esports and the University of Washington Esports. I'm so excited to see what both of these teams have to offer to us today. And the second one is, of course, Team NUS from Team NUS Car Parks from the National University of Singapore and HKU Space from Hong Kong University. So excited what they're going to show us today because these are not particularly the most competitive matches like the ones we are used to. These are more show matches, so more friendly like, but still I'm expecting these to be action-packed games nonetheless.
Yeah, this is what I love about show matches, Nathan. Most of the time when it comes to show matches, everyone is going for picks that are really non-meta, which is really good. Honestly, seeing off-meta picks are really what I want to see on this game, and I'm really excited on what's going to happen because later on, we're going to be having the second match. But right now, we're on here on our first match. Again, before we go into it, stay tuned as well because we'll have the whole tournament coming up the 4th week of January for Asia teams and the 2nd week of February for NA teams in the tournament. 8 teams from NA and 8 teams from Asia can join. Just make sure to go APRU.org to learn more. Registration is up until January 21, 2022. And again, Datum, that is going to be first match. Look at this. This is the lineup of the teams here. We're seeing very good names. Lil Copium. Look at that name, though.
Yeah, Copium right there. And I gotta say, Dash, I love this event. Of course, this tournament, this show match is a part of the APRU Metagame Conference, and we hope that everyone's been enjoying that so far. Friendly competition here and there. Of course, there's also the Student Esports Paper Competition and Awards. So that's something to look forward to as well. And this one, the Wild Rift Collegiate Regionals Tournament. And here's the team lineup for the University of Washington. Got Poppy PH, Ursine, Carrie, Yorha, and Irwak. And I'm super excited, like you said, what they're gonna show up in terms of picks. Because earlier in the rehearsals, they showed up with a Teemo, and that's something that I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, and also I'm really excited to see on what they're gonna go for. Especially that I kind of know a bit about Poppy PH. I know how this guy plays, so it's gonna be really action-packed, really exciting to see. Right now, we're gonna be going to the draft data, and we're seeing the bands here. We have the Teemo, the Annie, the Malphite, and we have again the Jarvan and the Camille. Looking at the other side, University of Washington, I think they have a more well-rounded band because they're the meta champions here.
Absolutely, you got Camille, you got Jarvan. Of course, those are the super sort of you could say counter to Olaf, right? Those are the responses when Olaf activates the Ragnarok. You got the Cataclysm, you've got the Hextech Ultimatum as well. On the flip side of the coin, UBC, they've straight up banned my team. Also, I'm not gonna be seeing that today anymore. But the picks now coming through: the Arya on the middle side, Poppy on the Graves. Ursine does get the Sinjao as well. So Poppy PH on that Graves. Bit of a flex pick, but seeing the Sinjao, that's probably going to be topside.
Okay, very interesting. They went in for the Graves onto the side of UBC, and we're seeing on the University of Washington, they're hovering some champions here. The Shinzao was able to get picked already against the Graves, honestly. I'm not really sure on how effective Shinzao is going to be. Yes, the early game is going to be good, but the later parts of the game, I think UBC might have the advantage with the Graves.
Absolutely, especially when it comes to the late game when Graves has gotten 2 to 3 or possibly even 4 items against the Sinjao. There's not a lot you can do against the Graves that's pretty strong, right? And of course the Lulu is one of the staple picks. Can be flexed to the middle side. We have seen Lulu go to the middle side before. Of course the go-to has always been the support. Faker being the sort of inventor of the Lulu mid lane. But Pioneer. The Vayne is there to support that, or Vayne will be there to be supported upon by the
Oh, there
Lulu.
you
But look at
go.
this, Soraka getting locked up as well.
Yes.
This is looking very weird already for the University of Washington.
And this is what I kind of expected from the side of University of Washington. I mean, the Soraka top has always been rampant with Poppy PH using it a lot of times. So we're gonna be seeing that right now in the game. But looking at the other side of the things, though, on the side of UBC, they have the Master Yi, they have the Jinx already on their side. So this might be a Graves on the top side. So looking at both of these compositions, we're seeing that both of them don't have any front line. So what they want to do is probably fight and fight.
This is gonna be so much fun. But of course, a little bit of an advantage to University of Washington because they do have that Xin Zhao that can deny a lot of the range engages from UBC, which is like
pretty much everyone.
Basically what they have. It's basically all that they have apart from the Master Yi, which takes up a lot of time to ramp up anyway. But I gotta say, the Soraka pickup, it's super nostalgic for me, especially being on the top side. I don't even remember what build you're supposed to get when you're going AD top side Soraka, or is that even going to be AD? I'm not sure, because I haven't even seen it before yet.
Yeah, and looking at how it worked before, Soraka top is basically a regen monster on the top side most of the time, building AP, just regenning the lane, especially that she's fighting against the Graves. I mean, the Graves would try to do some damage, but with not enough CC against the Soraka would just run away and just kite you out, and that is something that we don't usually see. But right now, maybe just the Graves would be able to pull off something different here against a non-meta, or rather an off-meta champion at top side.
I mean, saying it like it's off meta is kind of a understatement, I would say. But hey, I'm all for it. I love seeing the Soraka power of the banana. I'm all for it. And of course, let's talk a little bit more about the compositions. Who do you think Dash has the advantage when it comes to the team fights versus the pick-off potential? Because honestly, the draft's kind of all over the place for sure, but I do love it.
Yeah, but seeing the composition a while ago, I mean, on the side of University of Washington, they have a lot of ways to set up because they have the Orianna also. But that counteracts the part that they have the Shinzao, who has the Crescent Guard, who pushes everyone away after the shockwave, which is usually not ideal. But having on the other side, it's really hard to use a Master Yi without a frontline or without any really good CC. Yes, they have the Charm, they have the Encore, but would that be enough for Lil Copium to be able to pop off during the game?
Absolutely. It's going to be so hard to set up that Master Yi for later on. Especially like you mentioned, there is the Crescent Guard to watch out for against. But the thing about the composition of UBC, that they do have a lot of teamfight engage potential, right? They have the Seraphine, they have the Orianna, they have a lot of CC, which, if I'm being honest, University of Washington doesn't really have as much off. They do have the Lulu for that polymorph and that ultimate, of course. But again, it's not as much. And they don't have frontline for that Master Yi. It's so hard to set up ganks when you don't have frontline. It's so hard to set up 5v5s in particular when you don't have anything to back up the Master Yi. But it's gonna be interesting to see because on the other side, there's not a lot of frontline either. Yes, they have a lot of healing, they have a lot of CC, but they don't have that dedicated frontliner to deal with those range engages. On the top side, a little bit of action happening already. Poppy's down to half HP Dash.
That's not really ideal for Poppy to be losing a lot of HP against that. But again, forcing the issue here, they already have the regeneration. The honey fruit is already popped down, so I think that is just going to be doubling down for Slurps to be able to put more pressure against Poppy in the top side.
Absolutely. Let's look a little bit more about let's take a look at the pathing of both of our junglers. It seems like both of them are starting off on the bottom side of the map, so they might potentially be ganking top side first, or rather the Baron lane at first. But it's hard to imagine a world where a ganked Soraka will be able to pick up the first kill against the Graves. I mean, of course, it is a Graves. It takes a lot of time to ramp up. But with a Xin Zhao that has that extra bit of punch with the single target CC, they might just be able to do it. Now they're looking for a bit of action on the middle side.
Yeah, but honestly, looking at the pathing here, it's not really normal for Ursine to be going for the blue buff early, because most of the time red buff is much more valuable on the earlier parts of the game, and that's the usual thing that they do. But looking at this, the Ari Orianna, this is a very classic matchup, even in the earlier days of League of Legends BC. But we're seeing that, okay, on the top side, Ursine trying to do some damage. There comes the slow, and I think he wouldn't be able to get the knock up here, so that is good. They don't have CC on the top side. another day for Slurps to be happy.
Absolutely. At least they do get a lot of map pressure off of that, right? He will be able
Right.
to get that red buff without any contestation. Has already gotten the Rift Scuttler as well, so he's already setting himself up pretty well for this Baron that's about to Rift Herald that's about to spawn in about a minute and a half, and he can go for another gank because this is Xin Zhao, but carry on the middle side is half HP. Dash.
Okay, trying to do some damage. Lunayena now ticking for the Ignite, but okay, that command attack was able to get the kill there. And again, on the top side though, trying to put the pressure onto Poppy. He tried to do some damage. Slurps might fall down. The barrier bait right there. Ursine now forced to flash away. But again, that is good for the side of University of Washington. They were able to get the 1-for-1, but the trade here, Ursine trying to be overly aggressive, but Pompey with the heal from far away gives him the double kill, and now Ursine gets the advantage on the top side.
That was so close from Ursine. I wasn't expecting him to go for it once more, knowing there were two members right there. Put up the control ward, picks up Slurps, and that Super Mega Death Rocket will not connect onto Ursine. A valiant effort from Powder herself. You know what, Dash? Let's talk a bit more about Arcane, because it's been a while since it came out, right? But I still can't get over it. I love it so much.
I mean, everyone can't get over it just because we're left on a cliffhanger on that last episode, right? That's why. Yeah, that's why everyone is still talking about it. Maybe in 2 years we'll see what's gonna happen, but that's a long time. But again, we're right now back in the game, everyone, and looking at how the course of the game has turned around. Even though that they got 2 kills on the top side of the map, UBC still is close when it comes to the goal, just because of how efficient Slurps is farming on the top side.
Yeah, and of course, gotta remember he did get that first blood onto Poppy PH as well, so that equalizes the gold line a little bit as the Infernal Drake and Rift Herald has both spawned. Look at this. It's immediately started up by UBC right here. Let's see if there's going to be any contestation from UW.
Okay, they're really starting on that Infernal Drake. They want to put on the pressure. Little copy on Misiri. Remember, we have the Crescent Guard to be used if ever they need to, and that's going to be the smite. Ursine was able to take it down, was able to take one member with him, and he has the Infernal Drake. That's going to be the Flash Force right here. There's going to be the shield. Lunayena will be able to hit the zap. That's going to be it. That's going to be a good 1-for-1.
Absolutely beautiful Crescent Guard right there from Ursine. Didn't even have to use, didn't need the flash because he didn't have it. But stealing that Infernal Drake is going to be so good for him and his team, especially considering that they have such a late game insurance with the Vayne. Back it up with with 2 supports, essentially 3 supports. Put that Oriana in there as well. And speaking of the Vayne, Yorha looking for a bit of fight on the bottom side.
Yeah, there you go. He tumbles in, getting close to the enemy team. They're trying to do some damage, but with that, they just destroy the momentum coming in from the side of UBC. But looking at how this is turning out, Adam, it's just that Ursine is really proactive when it comes to the ganks, and this is where they need to look out for on the side of University of British Columbia, because they think Ursine, okay, the Encore was able to hit, but there you go, there comes the dash, and that's going to be it. Low HP is going to fall down. That's going to be Ursine again with this gank again and again.
Oh, the amount of damage that Ursine has right now. We did see him pick up the Trinity Force just a few seconds ago. He's mounds ahead of Lil Copium right now, who can't even respond with the Rift Herald. Yes, it's still up for contention, but he hasn't even started it as of yet. And look at this replay we're gonna happen. The Infernal Drake steal right here. Beautiful use of the dash into the Crescent Guard, into the smite. Takes out Lil Copium as well. Deny that last hit potential from that Master Yi. And now the topside Slurps has to flash away.
Yeah, that's gonna be it. Lil Copium now again, even though that it was really looking good for him. Oh no, there's a command attack, there's the flash, there's a shockwave! What was that play coming in from Carl? He was able to get it, and that's gonna be big advantages again for University of Washington. This looking to be their game.
Yeah, University of Washington Esports, they've been so good at being proactive and reactive. Look at the top side. Slurps was able to pick up that first tower. What was the response? They pick him up and get the Rift Herald as well. So on top of everything, on top of being super proactive across the map, Ursine and the rest of the gang, they've been showing up with the reaction plays. And Lil Copium has been struggling to keep up. Partly because, of course, Xin Zhao is a lot stronger than the Master Yi at the early game stages of the fight, but also because he's been a little bit late to the rotation, but now another fight happening.
Okay, again, Lilocopium. Remember, he only has Inabori Quick Blades. That's why he's having a hard time trying to do some damage on anyone, though, because that is not going to be ramping up until you have a lot of crit. But right now, they're going to be going for another fight. That's going to be the dash coming in from them. Ursign going to be trying to do some damage. There comes the hole, and there comes it. Carl is now super low in HP. They weren't able to do anything, though. Popey PH is now going to be the target, but still survives out of all of that. And they got a 1-for-1 out of that Kerfuffle.
That was quite a questionable encore from Absolute Board, but hey, we'll take it. And look at that. That was actually a bit of a misplay from Ursine. Using the flash to get Lilocopium's Alpha Strike near his teammates. Actually, it worked because Lilocopium doesn't have any damage yet. And that's the thing that we were talking about earlier. When you pick up the first item, the Navari Quick Blades, you don't really have that avenue to deal a lot of damage yet unless you get that second or possibly even third item. And we saw that right there. Lilocopium was at a good position to take out all those kills. Everyone from UW was low health, but nobody fell because he doesn't have any damage yet.
Ooh, yeah, that is gonna be. Oh no, that shockwave! I didn't really want to see that happen though. But again, everyone is right here in the bottom side of the map. University of British Columbia. They're going in for the fight though. There comes Lilocopium. Gonna be able to get the damage, and there's the Alpha Strike again. Kari is gonna fall down, and that's gonna be it. He is gonna get Alpha Strike out of the way. A double kill for the side of UBC. That is Lilocopium himself taking them all down.
Yeah, it's taking matters into his own hands as he does pick up the damage already. They are looking for the Cloud Drake as well. Starting it up right now. It seems like it's not up for contestation as Ursine has just picked up that middle laner. Luna Yen has fallen. The response is going to be the Cloud Drake. But hey, I say, that's going to be a little bit more worth it for UW because they do pick up 2 turrets as well.
What? That's turrets. I thought it's going to be only one. The Crescent Guard is used. Ursine might fall down here. Slurps is sticking. Okay, he stays alive. What was that? But again, everyone, I think that is really worth it for the side of University of Washington. The only problem here is they're not very efficient in that gold. Look at that. Most of their laners are having a disadvantage when it comes to the gold, especially on the top side of things because Popey is not really a good laner just because of the Soraka pick, and Graves is just ramping up on all those goals just because Popey is being reactive all around the map.
Yeah, but that is a Soraka, right? Doesn't really need a lot of items to pop off. Just needs to provide the healing, but Slurps.
No. Okay, Slurp's gonna be hit by the Shockwave, but I think Kari is on a disadvantage here. The Ignite was sticking, and that's gonna be it. An Alpha Strike is gonna be hitting him, and Lilocopium again, right now is on a rampage.
You gotta start questioning these over-aggressive plays from University of Washington because each and every time they are getting caught off guard one by one. Earlier it was Ursine, now it's Popey PH on the top side, and off of that, they're gonna get pummeled on the bottom side. 4 members from UW here might potentially want to start a fight, but they will be backing off because look at top. They're getting pushed up right into the inhibitor turret. I think it's probably gonna fall here, Dash.
Yeah, that's the most fed members on the side of University of British Columbia. They will be able to get the kill there, and that's going to be it for sure. Ursine was able to get it. Look at that dash. That was so long, and they're going to be taking him down also with him. A 3-4, I mean, rather 3-4-0 in favor of the side of University of Washington to stop lane. They're able to take down 1 member, even though their inhibitor turret has already fell down.
Yeah, University of Washington, they have to try and push this bottom side as a response to the top inhibitor being pushed up because for the majority of this game, it's Washington that has been in control, and right now, UBC, they have so much more map control just because they picked up that top lane inhib. The response is going to be the Rift Herald, but you're going to have to look for these pushes because honestly, Lilocopium is starting to scale. So is ZRM. No matter how many kills, no matter how many deaths they've garnered up, it will come to a point where they're going to be smart to deal with.
Yeah, the charm was able to hit, and now Lilocopium is on the face of Ursine, but it's a good thing that they were able to condemn him out of the way. They got the Rift Herald, remember, the Encore was able to hit, and that's going to be it. This is going to be Lilocopium falling down with a Shockwave. Perfect timing, though. ZRM flashing in for the kill, but he was able to get the kill onto Popey, and this is going to be it. Look at this. Slurp is just doing so much damage. What the timing from the stasis, but still, he's going to be surviving that Slurp. Oh no, he's being very overzealous here in the mid lane, but again, 2 for 1. In favor of the side of UBC.
Yeah, UBC, they're slowly taking control of this game. They're claiming the driver's seat. Ursine is looking to be that hero. Crescent Guard at the ready as well. Let's see if he's going to go back in, Dash.
Yeah, it's slowly falling short right now for Ursa. Even though he was fed a while ago, it's just at this point in the game, 12 minutes, it's the time that Xin Zhao really falls down. So that's why it's really hard to fight against the enemy team right now. At this point, the Charm would be able to hit. Oh no, the backside was hit, and the Crescent Guard is saving his life with the heals coming in from Popey. That's gonna be it. A triple kill already for this teammate, and that's gonna be it. Copium gonna be able to clean up and remember Popey doesn't have any damage. Carl won't be able to get the shockwave. He would be able to though, but not enough to be able to do anything. A quadra kill for Lil Copium, 1 versus 1 right now, Datum. This is gonna be Yorha versus Slurps.
Absolutely, last one standing each. I believe at this point, both of them have a lot of power, but Slurps, he can take on this Vayne. But in that team fight we saw, it was started off by Ursa and pretty good, picking up the triple kill. And the Crescent Guard, beautiful utilization as well. Unfortunately for him, it doesn't do much against a Master Yi, who, by the way, when he shows up, will be able to pick up everyone, especially with the Alpha Strike. We saw right there, the Alpha Strike was used to dodge that shock wave, nullifying it, useless. And Carry just fell in that encounter. And so many kills going in the way of UBC means that they now have the gold lead. We saw earlier, University of Washington, they were the ones controlling the pace of the game. Now, they can even take the map control for themselves to secure this Baron buff.
Yeah, now that UBC has this Ocean Drake, they can take more fights and take it longer. And that's what they want with their team composition. They want to take on long, dragged-on fights because they have the presence of a Graves, they have the presence of Master Yi. So the longer the fight goes, they have bigger advantage just because they have Spell Vamp. So this is just working in their favor. They're getting the Drakes, they're getting this. Baron Nashor most likely would be their next target, but Absolute Board would be flashing away out of that Earth sign. Now the Encore would be able to hit. That is going to be the timing for University of Washington to go on for this next fight.
Ursa, he wants to go in, he saw the charm, and he's looking for the slow Slurps right in front. Remember, there is no frontliner for UBC. There is.
Okay, look at that. Ursine goes in. That's going to be the heal. The Shockwave was able to hit up the 2 members. Remember, he has a wild growth, but he's going to fall down. Now that chunks out the damage for the side of UW. Now they're going for more UBC, trying to do some damage. Look at this. Yorha would be the one that they need for this fight, but he's not dealing a lot of damage just because everyone is here. Lil Copio was able to take them all down. An ace in favor of UBC. A quadra kill for Lil Copio.
Your Ursine used that, played that team fight very, very good. Almost perfectly, I would say. He baited all the utility. First, the Encore went out. The Ari Charm went out as well. He was able to flash away from a lot of the utility, from a lot of the CC. But unfortunately, there just wasn't enough damage. And Lil Copium, speaking of damage, he is the one who has the most right now in this game. They're looking for the Nexus Dash. They're not waiting for the team fights to come through anymore. ZRM's the last one standing. Crescent Guard will be there as well. This is gonna die for sure here, Dash.
Okay, I'm not sure if that is gonna be the good call for the side of University of for UBC. They tried to take down they tried to take down the Nexus without any minions, and that was the punishment that they were dealt with. So now with this, University of Washington bought themselves some time. They might be able to take the Baron.
Absolutely. They have so much damage now, and of course they do have the Vayne to make it quicker as well. So this is for sure gonna go their way. Slurps will not be able to contest this whatsoever unless he's got a magic. He pulls a magic rabbit out of the hat, but he's just gonna try anyway. He's going for collateral damage at the ready. He's being zoned out by Poppy, who doesn't have any damage at all. Condemned will not condemn him, but Slurps will try to run away now.
Okay, that is really scary. Slurps is looking really beefy right now. He might be able to take a lot of members down though, but look at that. The ultimate has been popped already by Lil Copium. Remember, he has a GA. He can't go for longer fights. So if ever he dies, okay, he doesn't have the ultimate anymore. So that's going to be the call to back away for UBC.
Yeah, Ursine, my eyes are on him to set up these plays because he can be the delivery system for the Lulu, for the Oriana to set up these team fights for him and his team. But the thing is, he's got to target Lil Copium. He's the one to watch out for right now because he is the only one who can wipe the floor with UW. So that's the name of the game right now. Get Ursine in, use the Shockwave and the Wild Growth to lock him in, deal that CC, heal up Ursine, and take care of Lil Copium because honestly, he is the biggest problem right now. ZRM, he's been ramping up with the damage, yes, but it's not at the level that Lil Copium is at right now. And that's the name of the game right there when it comes to team fights. However, UW, having said that, they have to try and contest this next Drake because it is going to be the Elder one. And if they give this away, just giving away their chances at the team fights.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be the chance. Lil Copian is gonna go against Ursign, but if he falls down really fast here, that's gonna be the chance. Yorha is just dealing so much damage. They pop the GA, and this might be the chance. But Slurps, oh no, they need to look out for Slurps. I think Lil Copian is gonna fall down in the backside though. They were able to exhaust him out. Ursign is gonna go in. That's gonna be the Encore. Wouldn't be able to hit anyone though. That's gonna be the chance for UW with a Shockwave. Was able to hit the Slurps. Is the last member standing. A good triple kill for carry, and I think Slurps is gonna be the next one on the chopping block, and that's gonna be University of Washington turning this thing around, and they're gonna be ending this game.
I love this game so much, Dash. Back and forth.
What?
Forth and back we go. And at
That's
the
gonna
end
be
of the day, when the smoke has cleared, it's University of Washington who will be banging away at the Nexus. There's so much time left on the death timers, and it will be the game being secured by UW Esports.
Oh, yeah, man. It's like what we said, Zayden. We said a while ago that just because of that last play from the side of UBC that they forced the issue onto the Nexus, that is the reason why they lost.
Yeah.
They lost because they tried to take down the Nexus without any minions. And that bought some time for UW. They were able to get the Baron. They didn't even bother to take the Mountain Drake. And that is the chance for Yorha to pop off during that last fight.
Yeah, I gotta say, a little bit of criticism to go in the way of Lil Copium as well. Being a little bit overzealous when it came to the team fight. He was looking for the 1 versus 1 against the Xin Zhao, not knowing that the Vayne was right there. Dealing the damage onto him and taking him out early means that there's no more damage and there's no more frontline basically anymore for UBC. Yes, they did have the Grave still, but the damage levels are nowhere near as close as Lil Copium provides, because look at the man. He's got all of his items completed already. 6 items completed, and he's got the most damage in the entire game. So when he falls down in the team fights, his team just has nothing to answer for Ursign, for Yorha, and of course the sheer amount of CC and healing that they have. And that him falling in that final team fight just signaled the end for the game.
Yeah, man. But during that last fight, I thought that is going to be turning in favor of the side of UBC just because of the way that the members of University of Washington are playing. Because look at this, look at the goal. UBC always had the advantage. It's just that at some points in the game where University of Washington will be able to answer back, that is the time that they're going to be winning. But most of the time, UBC was on top because Lil Copium is always taking a lot of kills against them. It's just that on the last fight, it was just unfortunate that Lil Copium was exhausted, was CC'd, was pulled back out of the way, which is the reason why he lost the ultimate on that last timing. He wasn't able to get the first skill, and that's what scaled in favor of University of Washington.
Yeah, and gotta give credit where credit is due as well. Ursign in the early game, absolutely on point with the pathing, with the jungling, with the ganking as well. It set up his team, even though they had a goal deficit for, like we saw, a majority of the game. It didn't feel like that because Ursign has been in control when it came to the gank. He's always been proactive. University of Washington were always the ones who started off the fight, and when it was UBC's time to start off the fights in the early to mid game, Washington, they were so good with responding, and that's the type of consistency that they brought into the late game that got them this win. And because of that, they win it against UBC in the show match.
Yeah, and that was really a really entertaining match, honestly, Dado. I can't say that I was not entertained, because every step of the way for the members right there, for UBC, for UW, it was very on par with each other. Even though that we have a lot of off-meta picks from both of our sides, it's still okay. It was enough to be able to be on the back and forth. I was expecting it to be one-sided, but it was much closer than I thought it was gonna be.
Absolutely. I mean, I wasn't expecting that to go that way as well either. We got inhibitors falling left and right, and at one point it was for sure going one way, and then it completely sidetracked, zigzag, and turned back around, going the other way. And it was so much fun to see. I'm super excited to see what the next 2 teams are going to bring up. Of course, it is NUS Car Parks from the National University of Singapore, like we said, versus Space Esports from Hong Kong. We will be back after the short break to have those two bang up against each other in the next show match. Again, my name is Dayden Casting here today with Dash for the On The Rift Invitational, and we'll see you guys after the short break. Welcome back, everyone. You are watching the Metagame Conference 2021 on the Rift Invitational Collegiate Regionals Tournament Show Match. This event is brought to you, of course, by the Association of Pacific Rim's Universities in partnership with Cyberport and Nexten Esports. My name is Daydum, and I'm joined here today by my friend Dash. Dash, we saw that absolute banger of a game the last time. What are you expecting in the next matchup?
Yeah, I mean, on the last game, it was really a lot of off-meta champions here on, but right now, I think we're going to be expecting a bit of a difference right here on this next match, because NASCAR Parks versus Space Esports, they have a lot of background. The difference here is they have a lot of background when it comes to the Wild Rift, so most likely they're going to be playing this game more in the meta compared to what happened a while ago. So this is going to be something different that we need to look out for, because again, this team's Space Esports is from Hong Kong, NASCAR Parks is from Singapore. Now we're going to be seeing what they're going to be bringing on this next match. I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Absolutely, that's true. We might be seeing some more conventional picks, to say the least, that we're going to be expecting to go into this matchup. Of course, the lineups now being shown as well from NUS. Like you said, is from Singapore, the National University of Singapore, that is. They have Delta King, Zhang Xiao, Sleepy, Cup Noodle, and Lele. They are right now showing us their fresh faces. So they're actually at the university right now. So I'm kind of jealous of them, me personally, because here in the Philippines, as you know, from where we are from, me and Dash, we can't really go to our unis yet. But hey, we're having fun. We're playing Wild Rift anyway.
Yeah, I hope you guys will be okay right there, because right now we're gonna be seeing on the next one Space Esports right now. Ten Mickey, Hyacinthus, Mike Denyi, Lingarden, Hao, and Love More. This is gonna be their lineup for this game. So this is looking really great, because I'm expecting a lot of difference from this next game. What do you think about this next match, Aiden?
Absolutely, I think I'm on the same page as you, right? I'm expecting them to go for those more sort of conventional meta picks, because like you said, these two teams, they're more out there, right? Compared to University of Washington and University of British Columbia. We were talking to Poppy earlier, and he was saying how in University of Washington, there's very few players who actually play Wild Rift. He said it was like 4 people who play Wild Rift in Washington. So, and we could see instantly in the US the difference. They do have their own room as well. So I'm expecting it to be a little bit more action-packed than the last one. No matter how unbelievable it sounds, so seeing how action-packed the last game already was, definitely excited for this one as well. But the thing is, these two teams have already done their pick and ban phase, so the bans showing in the screen right now: Caitlyn, Brom, and Action. And for Space Esports, they took away the Lee Sin, the Darius, and the Corki. Thoughts on this, Dash?
Yeah, they're having the Corki out of the way. This is more of a meta champion bans here, because they even banned the Caitlyn because they don't want to deal with the newest champion in the league right now for Wild Rift. And even the Akshan getting banned here is really interesting to see, because we don't really see a lot of Akshan bans, because most of the time it's because Akshan is really inconsistent compared to a lot of other mid laners right there. But again, they really respect that ban.
Absolutely, there might potentially be a respect ban for a Space Esports, right? There might be something going on behind the picture that we don't know as of yet. But speaking of new champions, like you said, Caitlyn is one of the newest in the league. The new champions that are just introduced to Wild Rift, that's Morgana and Kale, are not allowed to be used. That's on top of Dr. Mundo as well, who got freshly reworked. They're not allowed to be used in this tournament, so that's something to watch out for. And the picks, as we're speaking, has been shown. And US, they're looking to lock up that Sinja. We saw it in the last game. You super effectively used it to snowball the lead in the favor of University of Washington. And US, this time, they want to lock it up for themselves.
Okay, so NUS just went in for the Shinzao. We all know the Shinzao is really good in the early game. Most likely what they want to do here. Basically, if you pick a Shinzao, you really know what's going to happen with the draft coming in from their side. They want to go for engages. They want a safe pick composition on their side.
Absolutely. And the opposite is true for Space Esports. They're going for those team fights. Malphite, the Unstoppable Force, easy setups for the rest of his team. When you've got the crescendo to back it up as well on the Sona, and you've got a lot of CC. So the damage department is what I'm going to be looking at here for Space Esports. What are they going to be using to round up this composition? Because NUS, their comp is looking pretty solid so far. Sinjao on top of the Vi, and this is already pretty interesting because we usually see Vi on the jungle, so is Sinjao. So this is a bit of a flex pick we're seeing right now.
Yeah, we don't really know where this champions are gonna go. This might be because most likely Vi and Shinzao are always on the jungle, but right now on the other side, we're seeing a lot of CCs on them because just looking at the Malphite with the Unstoppable Force and the crescendo from Hyacinthus, that's a lot to work with for their side. So they just need to double down on the damage.
Speaking of damage, they do show it up right now. The Lucian, Evelyn, and the Garen to back it up as well. Usually you've been seeing a lot of Garen support, even in Horizon Cup, which has been showcased the potential of the silence on top of the Dimension Justice. Just denies a lot of the utility from a lot of utility supports. But I'm expecting this one to go on the top side as sort of a safe counter, right? They're probably not sure either where the Sinjao or the Vi is going, which is why they went for a more safer route on the Garen. But either way, I would say Tenmiki is all set in this lane. No matter which one he's gonna face off against, Garen is a pretty solid pick on the top side against either Sinjao or Vi.
Okay, that was really interesting. When I saw the draft on the last one, I was kind of surprised just because they went in for the Sona as the mid laner. So that is not usually what you see, and Malphite going for the support role. So what we're seeing here is that they want the Sona to be like the Lulu. Most of the time, right, we actually see a Lulu going for the mid lane role just for the Lulu to be able to rack up early when it comes to the heals. The Ardent Sensor, the Staff of the Flowing Water would really help. So they have a very supportive mid lane. So that could really change the way that they move around the map here.
Speaking of moving around the map, it is Zhang Ziyo actually going to the jungle with that Vi. And a lot of pick potential on the Vi and the Sinjao combo. Top it up with some team fighting strength as well on the Kennen. Sleepy. You know, Kennen is something that we have seen a little bit fall off in the meta, right? He's not been seeing as much as I'd like to. But Kennen is still absolutely relevant. Even though Kennen falls behind in lane, he's still very, very good as long as he's got the Slicing Maelstrom and the Stasis. It's all set and done because he doesn't really need to deal damage to be useful, the Kennen. As long as it does provide that CC and that hard engage, it's good. And it's a pretty good response as well to the Sona and to the Malphite, who can, you know, basically nullify all of that in the team fight when you don't got the CC targeted onto the Kennen.
Yeah, the only reason why the Kennen is not meta is because he's really hard to use in the solo queue setting, but most of the time, every time, even though that he's not good at this patch, he's gonna get used just because engaged meta is always gonna be part of the game at almost any stages of Wild Rift right now. That's why Kennen is always gonna be relevant. But looking at how they drafted on the side of space, they know how to deal with this Kennen. They only have the Garen, they only have the Malphite that is gonna go in, and the others, they can just pick them off on a range.
Take a look at the jungle pathing this time around. It's Zhangxia actually making his way to the top side with Sleepy. So Tenmiki has to be careful here. He's already engaged onto a fight. He has to flash away, but will get locked up. Tenmiki now has to try and use it to run away, but a beautiful play. Flash from Zhang Ziyo will knock him up and secure that first blood for NUS.
Okay, that's a good first blood for the side of NUS. They were able to get it really, really fast though, honestly, because they went in for that. The knockup was able to hit. I wasn't expecting it to hit because Tenmiki already flashed away. But again, it was just because of that. That's why they were able to chase him down.
Yeah, the pick potential. This is what we've been talking about. Delta kicking Zhang Ziyo. Even though they didn't have the stun from Sleepy yet, they were able to deal enough of the stoppage, or rather the stallage from Tenmiki to secure that kill on him, and that's the first blood going through in their way. Definitely gonna help a lot in all of these three members. Now bottom side, cease and desist will be there to love more. Onto the tower dive will be secured by Cup Noodles. A beautiful play right there. And I am loving this confidence already from Zhang Ziyo. Even though he's just level 5, the moment that he hit that ultimate power spike, instantly goes for the tower dive. No hesitation whatsoever from NUS.
Yeah, really like that they went in for that already. Because, I mean, the Vi, it really falls off later on in the games. But right now, with the CC that he has, he can go for Vi. So, like, look at the top lane.
Silence onto Delta King. They're still going for a bit of a fist fight on the top side, but no one's fallen as of yet. And that's mostly because Space is creating that space for themselves on the blue side jungle, with Hyacinthus going for the invade. They're actually the ones looking for the kill now, as Hyacinthus has made his way on the top side. They're gonna have to let this wave shove for it to be amounting to much. And now on the middle side, Airborne does come through. Pulverize! Fully pulverizing that Sona. And on the upside, 10 Mickey is gonna have to look for the response, as he's actually the one to fall. Delta King flashes away, but the response is gonna be there for Hyacinthus. Now it's 4-1 on the scoreline, and NUS, they come out on top.
Yep, honestly, the rotation coming from Lele was really scary, because honestly, you don't really expect them to be rotating really early on to this game. They went in for the fight there because they want to secure this next objective, which is the Infernal Jake. With them out of their flashes, out of their some of their spells, they don't even have the heal on McDenyi. So this is going to be a problem here on for Space.
Absolutely. As Zhang Seo is already starting up the Infernal Drake for NUS. They're looking for the fight now. Pulverize will be there, slicing Maelstrom at the ready as well. McDenyi now to try and use the Crescendo. Stay alive, but he will fall nonetheless. Here goes Unstoppable Force onto two members, as they do find Sleepy as a response. But now, low health bars across the board means that Lingar will have to try and flash to stay alive. Will be denied his own life by Cup Noodles, looking for the second kill to come through. Will be blast packed away, or rather blast... What do you call that actually? Blast planted away. Blast coned away, as Hyacinthus will not even be able to contest this Drake. So Space will not be able to get this as NUS secure that Drake on top of being 4 kills ahead.
I mean, Noskar Parks really just knows how to play around this, especially with their team composition. Looking at how the Cup Noodles move around, it looks really scary, honestly, because that is the makings of a very good Vayne player, because of the way that he moves around. You're really tumbling down, just trying to poke out, even though that is a Vayne. Really, no hesitation, aggression coming in from this Vayne is really going to be scary at the later parts of the game.
Here we go. Space is looking for the Rift Herald as a response to the Drake being taken away. Last Caress not ready for Hyacinthus, so he has to be careful right here. Has no flash either, so that means he's just gonna fall before the fight even starts for the Rift Herald. Slicing Maelstrom is there as well. So NUS, they picked up all the kills. They wiped the floor with 3 members of Space down. The Unstoppable Force on the bottom side will try and take care of Cup Noodles. He will fall in the end, but that's just a single response to 3 kills already going the way of NUS, on top of picking up the Rift Herald. This is the thing about NUS. They're super proactive, right? They don't hesitate whatsoever in starting the team fights, getting the objectives, and because of that, look at the gold lead already. They're already 4k gold up. Pulverize will be there on the bottom side. And look at the damage from Lele. Just so much doing for the 1 versus 2, but it's not gonna find anything without any backup.
Yeah, doesn't have any damage though, so he doesn't have anything to work with in his favor. So on the side of NUS, they just really need to work around this advantage that they have. They just weren't aware of Cup Noodles having a 2v1 in the bot lane, but it really doesn't matter at this point. They have a 5k gold lead, so that's a really big margin for NUS to work around it, especially that they have a Vayne and they have this big advantage. It's gonna be hard for Space.
You gotta love that NUS, they love putting priority to where they need to put it on. Because look, even though NUS was focusing a lot of their attention on the solo laners, it's still Cup Noodles and Lele are doing such a good job for themselves that they don't need to gank bottom side anyway, and they pick up the first turret in that area themselves with the Rift Herald. Now of course onto 2 members. Charm is there as well. Last Caress at the ready for the execute. He does use it to get in front, as Zhang Xiao is still alive in the back line. gonna pick up the kill. Zarxio is still stanking so much damage. Lele now has to flash away. Cup Noodle doing the dance against two members. The culling is not ready, which means that the Silver Bolts is gonna look to try and find the kill onto Lingard Linho, but he was still alive as well. So does Cup Noodles. Delta King looking for the dive, flashes for it as he does get it in the end. And when the smoke has cleared Dash, no one from NUS falls in that encounter.
Yeah, that was very, very massive for them to be able to win that fight. And US just really moving around while taking the objectives. With the Rift Herald being placed in the bot side, they had the pressure already. So they forced them to invest their resources on players. But okay, the fight here.
Oh, here we go. Sleepy now has received Dimash and Justice already as he's finally fallen prey to the two members. Again, this is Hyacinthus trying to find that aggression that Zhangxiu has turned up with. He hasn't been able to find that same leeway, but he does look for those engages as much as he can. So far, a 6k gold lead for NUS, which means that Space they have to try and be proactive now as they try and contest this mid side as a response to the top side turret being pushed away by Cup Noodles. Here we go, Unstoppable Force at the ready has already been used up actually, and Lovemar is looking for the kills now. Hyacinthus, no ult available as well, but Delta King is now 100 health, running away. But they're already picking up this turret and a lot of pressure being made up by Space. Again, just nullified by NUS, who picks up the top tier 1. So they're still the ones who come out on top, even though Zhangxiu fell.
They were able to take it. The Mountain Drake is going to come up in just a bit. So Zhangxiu is really what they need. Who rather they need on this next fight. That's why they're really backing up. They need to be respectful of what's going to happen here. The Mountain Drake is going to be the target. Everyone is rotating around. But because of this rotation from Hyacinthus, they're going to be too late for this Drake.
Yeah, Hyacinthus actually recalled there, started the fight. Started the Dragon rather call for NUS, and now they're continuing it right now. Hyacinthus finally made his way right here. Last Caress at the ready as well to try and get the steal, but it's gonna be denied. Crescent Guard at the ready, slicing Maelstrom activated as well. Ling now has to try and run away, but he will just fall. Cease and desist on the backline. My beautiful Unstoppable Force will not amount to much because there's just no backup. There's no damage because Lingard fell already. And that was a massive play from Lovemore, but just didn't amount to anything whatsoever for Space.
Yep, they weren't able to get anything during that last fight. I was expecting them to win, honestly, but just because they don't have the Unstoppable Force on the right timing, that's why they were backing away. They know they should respect it, but the Pulverize here in the mid lane, though.
Oh, Mixen Yi trying to stay alive with the crescendo as he picks up 2 with the stun. But he's just being chased by Cup Noodles. Not a single care to the world as killing speed does come through. Beautiful ultimates being used as well. 10 Mickey now try and run away. Still dealing and tanking a lot of damage. So both teams now backing off. But still, NUS go for the 1 versus 1. Now they're looking for the Rift Herald. You might be seeing another fight about to happen here because Smite is ready for both of our junglers. But no ultimate for Hyacinthus means that he has to try and contest for this space that's being claimed right now by NUS. But look at Cup Noodles, no fear at all. He's leading the charge right there. Cease and desist onto Hyacinthus means that the Eve will not be contesting this Rift Herald at all. But it is being taken by Lovemore, who will be shut down onto the Delta King. And they're looking for the push down the middle side, and NUS are looking to cement their presence on the middle area despite not getting that herald. And now another flash in from Sleepy. Beautiful slicing. Maelstrom will get the double stun, will get the kill as well onto Mictan Yi, who has been struggling with the crescendo so far and struggling to stay alive because, well, he doesn't have flash dash. How are you gonna stay alive against all of this onslaught that's happening onto him?
Yeah, he wasn't able to get anything during that last one. Look at that, the gold ranking, 10k gold onto Cup Noodles. That's a lot for a Vayne. That's very big advantage. Just having a 4k disadvantage against a Vayne is a sign that you're gonna be on the losing end. Look at this gold lead that we have right now. We have a 12k gold lead for the side of NUS. Space needs a miracle to be able to get this because it's 11 minutes time and they need to find a way to answer back against NUS.
You don't want to see that at all when you're Space Esports right now. Leading the gold leaderboard is the Vayne. And look at that, they just nullified the Rift Herald just like that. NUS, I didn't even know that you could do that. And Zhangxiu just looking for more flanks, looking to start the fight elsewhere. Because they have that luxury to leave Cup Noodles all alone because it can definitely fend for itself. Leading the levels in the whole game. Level 12, he's the only one that's level 12 right now. and he just doesn't care. Even if there's a lot of members from space, he can dodge everything.
Yeah. Now I think this is gonna be the next fight though. In the top side, this is gonna be it.
Crescendo used early on to try and deter that from happening. Stoppable force is there as well. Beautiful pulverize to knock up 3 members. Here comes the slicing maelstrom onto a lot of members. Last caress will be used defensively, and no one's fallen as of yet for NUS. Love has to flash away. Last one standing for Space Esports. And that was such a beautiful ult for him, but now he's the only one left standing. Airborne away, and Godlike falls through for Cup Noodles, and this is just a game for NUS. Absolute spectacular showing for them, showing us the masterclass of how it is done.
Oh,
and they're just gonna pick up this show match 12 minutes, 13 minutes even into the scoreline. That's just a game. NUS, they sweep the floor with space.
Oh wow, NUS really knows how to play around their objectives, really knows how to play their advantages, and that just showed during that last game. They know how to play, even though that we don't usually expect a Shinzao to be on the top side of the map. They were able to make it work even against a Garen on the top side, and that just gave them the win. It was just fights here on, fights around, rotations. When it comes down to the objectives, they're gonna be there. They're gonna be taking it for sure.
Yeah, I gotta love the amount of confidence that NUS has in the bottom side as well. They put so much priority on Delta King and Sleepy, and while they were racking up the gold because of those ganks, so was Cup Noodles and Lele. They were winning lane despite not having a lot of ganks from Zaxio who prioritized Sleepy and Delta King. But it doesn't matter because every single member from NUS was just ahead, especially the bottom side. Look at Cup Noodles, the most gold in the entire game, the most kill participation. Oh, not the most kill participation. I believe, yeah, he's got the most kill participation as well, right up there with Sleepy and Lele. So, and that's just an indication of how well this game went out for NUS. Look at the score line, look at the gold line rather. The entire time, NUS was ahead there.
Right, and that just says a lot on how they play. This is basically even just looking at how they banned a while ago, it was enough for me to say that they really know how to play around their strengths and weaknesses, and that's just what they banned during the last game. They don't want to deal with the early game. Let's wait until the mid game before we go in. But it's just that Cup Noodles was really on the advantage at any point in the game, and that was, wow, 12k gold on a Vayne in the early game. So that's just a big statement from the side of NUS.
And that is actually gonna be it for our second game of the day, ladies and gents. That is the second show match for the On the Rift Invitational. The first one, remember, is between the University of Washington and British Columbia, University of British Columbia, which University of Washington did win by a sliver. This time, it's a complete opposite because NUS Car Parks, they absolutely swept the game. Didn't even reach the 13-minute mark as they won that game super dominatingly against Space Esports. And that was our matches for the day. Super exciting to see such a contrast, right? The first game, super unconventional picks. The swing from left to right was just non-stop. But the second one, it was done in an instant. It was just the NUS show. Beautiful composition, beautiful setups, and beautiful plays left and right, which just rewarded them with this win. I'm so stoked to be part of this Invitational, Dash, and I'm so stoked that they had us for their casters. Like Dash and I are very grateful for having us for your casters, and do stay tuned because the Metagame conference is still ongoing. Of course, there's still the Students Esports paper competition, and of course the Collegiate Regionals tournament is still about to happen, right, Dash?
Yeah, and again, that is probably gonna be it. I mean, stay tuned, everyone, because we will have the whole tournament coming up on the 4th week of January for Asia teams and 2nd week of February for NA teams in the tournament. 8 teams from NA and 8 teams from Asia can join. So just make sure to go to APRU.org to learn more. Registration is up until January 21, 2022. Did I forget anything, Datum?
I believe that's it. If we haven't forgotten anything, my name is Datum, and I casted here today with Dash for the On the Rift Invitational show matches. Such an honor to be here, by the way. And again, we are your casters for today. We'll be signing off right now. See you guys on the next one.